Hello. Hello, hello. Hello, dear student. Please confirm my voice is audible or not. Hello. Hello, hello. Hello, dear student. Please confirm. Okay, dear student. So, dear student, uh, very good afternoon to all of you. Dear student, today we are going to see about 13th July, the Hindu newspaper analysis. So, dear student, let me tell you the objective of this discussion. So, basically, we are going to discuss all the important news of the day, and during discussion, I am going to give you 10 to 12 daily tasks. So, you have to perform that, and it is my guarantee you'll get around 15 to 20 question UPSC direct. That means 20 to 30 marks you'll get extra in the UPSC prelims and 80 plus marks as compared to other in the mains. If you start, acting whatever suggestion I'm giving on a daily basis. Okay. So, dear student, and how you can get this PDF? You can simply scan this QR code given here. You can download our application. From there, you can get daily infographics edition. From there, you can get this PDF. And those who are using iOS and iPad device, you can simply download the Class Plus application and then use our or the code PKRMEJ to get this PDF. Okay. So first important news of the day, the Air India jet crash after fuel cutoff report. So, there is a report recently published by the Airport Accident Investigation Bureau that it pointed out why there is a accident happened. It is found that, the fuel, these there is a cutoff, like, switch, the switch that is on the run position, that is in the cutoff position. So because of that, fuel is not able to supply to the engine. So there might be some malfunction in the switch, or there might be some error on the pilot. So not yet conclusive evidence we are getting, but it is found that accident is because of fuel cutoff. Okay. So Airport Accident Investigation Bureau report says that fuel switch shifted to cutoff 3 seconds after the air became airborne. That means whenever aircraft in the air, so the fuel switch which is supposed to be on the on position, it is moved to the cutoff position. So because of that, the fuel supply is cut off, like stopped, and aircraft is not able to generate the enough force to in the air. So one pilot asked other, why did he cut off the fuel? Other pilot responded that he did not do so. That is clearly indication that, one pilot is saying, no, I am not doing that. I haven't done that. That means there is a fault in the switch itself, because in past report also there have been found that, this Boeing aircraft having problem with that switch also. So AIB report does not recommend any action for either Boeing 787-8 aircraft or GE engine. So the fuel control switches of the aircraft Air India flight that crashed in the Ahmedabad month shifted to transition from cutoff position 3 seconds after the aircraft became airborne. So this is what found in the preliminary investigation. Okay, later there was a loss of engine thrust and both engines shut down and precipitating the crash of this aircraft. Okay, so fuel cutoff switch, both the engine transitions from run to cutoff position one after another within a time gap of 1 second. So within 1 second, both the engine this transit from the run positions to the cutoff position. So Aircraft Accident Investigation Bureau later the night the switch movement occur at 1 hour 38 and 42 seconds. So that is what clear indication. So we have to find more investigations to ascertain what are the real reason. Okay. So next is the Hasina daughter on leave from WHO amid legal woes with Dhaka. So we know that recently the Bangladesh is taking very strict action against the Sheikh Hasina government after this new government, the caretaker government of recently formed in Bangladesh. So to prevent any such incident, so the Saima Wajid, they are moving away from the WHO. So India poor reporting informal credit data. So they go what happening. We have seen that recently we have launched the Pradhan Mantri Jan Dhan Yojana. After that, we have opened so many bank account, and but one thing that we are finding that India poor resorting to the informal credit. That means poor are not taking loan from the bank, rather they are going for informal lending like money lender. You can see here. those who are economical weaker section earning 1 lakh to 2 lakh, they are going more to the, here it is given institutional credit. That means negative. That means they are going in negative, but in positive direction, they are mostly taking from non-institutional credit. That means money lender. But those who are in the 2 to 5 lakh, they are having access to both. But those who are middle income, they have access to the both. But those who are higher income, they are taking, negatively both. So that means the government, they promise that, we have increased the credit disbursement, which is not happening. So now people are more relying on the informal credit, and informal credit, that the interest is very high as compared to the bank loan they are providing. Okay. So next, center exempt 70-80% of 78% of the thermal power plant from installing CRE anti-pollution system. So why anti-pollution system? That thermal power plant, they produce sulfur dioxide, which is very severe pollutant, which can cause PM 2.5. It is also causing, acid rain. Also, it is also causing, lot of asthma and bronchitis, lungs disease. So because of that, center recently created norm that compulsory installation of flue gas desulfurization in all these thermal power plant. But it is found that, only very few of this thermal power plant, they are able to comply with that. And listen, recently there is a report published by an export committee. They have recommended that we have to restrict, instead of focusing on any, all the thermal power plant, we can restrict that. Only few thermal power plant can have flue gas desulfurization. So Union Environmental Ministry has exempted majority of Indian thermal power plant from installing flue gas desulfurization. So dear student, you have to study about flue gas desulfurization. So in detail, so there is two type of flue gas desulfurization. One is wet, another is dry. So you have to study the detail. So flue gas, a residue from the burning fuel in their thermal power plant, emit sulfur dioxide, which can mix in the atmosphere and create secondary pollution matter like air pollution. It can create ozone. It can create, acid rain also. So there are about 180 thermal power plant in India, and single plant, and a single plant can have multiple unit. For example, let's say this is a thermal power plant. Within that, we can have multiple unit of, boiler and, the generating stations. So only about 11% of the 600 thermal power plant unit located 100, 10 kilometer from the national capital region or other cities with population at least 1 million come under the category 1. So let's say there is a thermal power plant. If it is located within a radius of 10 kilometer from million, mega city. So in that case, we have to install the flue gas desulfurization. Another 11% of the thermal power plants under category B located within 10-kilometer radius of critically polluted area. If a thermal power plant located in cities B, that is being categorized as critically polluting area, in that, may or may not have installed. That means it's a gray area. You can say sometime, like, they can give an relaxation, but they have to do that. So and if remaining 78% of the thermal power plant under category C are now exempted from installing flue gas sulfurization. So we can say that the installation of flue gas desulfurization have been categorized into three parts. First one is any thermal plant that is located, let's say 10 kilometer within the radius of the national capital region, or you can say if it is 10-kilometer radius of a million plus city, that is category 1. So they have to install the flue gas desulfurization. In second category, if it is falling within 10 kilometer of critically polluted area, so in that case we have to or we may not. So there is no condition. But in 78%, that is not falling in the criteria 1, criteria 2, no need to have any installation. So next is CBI filed FIR against the police personnel in Tamil Nadu custodial death case. So recently we have seen so many instances of, person are dying in the police custody. So CBI, Central Bureau of Investigation, Saturday registered FIR against police personnel for allegedly responsible for custodial death of Ajit Kumar, 29-year-old temple guard, Sibganga district of Tamil Nadu. So why he was taken? So the victim was taken by the police to a nearby private hospital as they were refused to. So you can see here. So why this incident happened? Following a gold theft. Following a gold theft complained by a lady. So the Kumar was picked off by interrogation by a special team. He was taken to a secluded, means isolated place, and started interrogating. And allegedly he was thrust by the police officer. So after that he was died, and those who involved, all of them are suspended. But suspended should not solve all. It is not going to solve the issue. So we have to treat this as a core issue. We have to find the solution. So that means, police, we have to reform the police. Police should think that they are the service of the people. They are not the force. So they are using brute force to silence everything. Okay. So next, dear student, next important article will move to last page. Yes. So here there is a controversy that is being going on. Central Board of Film Certificate clear Janaki V versus State of Kerala with universal adult certificate. So what do you mean by what is the controversy? First of all, you need to know that everyone, including you, me, and the producer, they have the right to freedom of expression. So we can produce movie, we can express our creativity through by creating movies. But at the same time, there is reasonable restriction that is being provided under Article 19(2) of our Indian Constitution. That means, all our freedom of speech should be reasonable restricted. But what happened? This movie Janaki, they actually show a sexual harassed victim or sexually victim named Janaki, who is fighting for justice and being questioned by a person from the that Janaki is the name of the Sita, and being questioned by person from the other religion. So cross examination and some tough questions. So some section of the people, they are saying by questioning this kind of thing, so it is may hurt the sentiment of religious of the Hindu, because they believe they worship the Janaki or Sita. So that is the reason the Central Board of Film Certificate demand that the name of the lady should be changed from Janaki to something else. But initially the producer, they opposed, but later on under pressure they have changed. But this kind of demand, which is very dangerous. Why this is very dangerous? Let me see. In movie in India, you can see that all our name are deriving from either some god name or some goddess name, some important sentiment. If tomorrow any movie release with a person involved in criminal activity or some sort of thing, if some section of the society, they said that we cannot, you cannot release this movie because it is hurting our sentiment. So in this way, we are not able to produce a single movie. So that is what even the court has said. The court had earlier termed the Central Board of Film Certificate Revising Committee seeking change the name of Janaki title and protagonist a challenge to the freedom of creative expression. So if that kind of thing is going to happen, then it is very difficult to produce the movie. In its affidavit, Central Board of Film Certificate has stated that it was opposed to the character by the name Janaki, which is the another name of the goddess Sita, being shown subject of rape and being aggressively cross-examined by lawyer from the another religion, who possesses humiliating questions to her, to name few instances as among reason for not issuing censor certificate for argue this may hurt the religious sentiment. Okay. So next is there is one more incident happened, very shocking incident rather. So Odisha college student set herself on fire after sexual harassment complaint ignored. So this is a very, you can say, very bad incident. We have to take very strict sections action against those who involved. The women suffer 90% burn, accused assistant professor arrested, college principal placed under suspension. So internal complaint committee formed to look into the matter failed to take action. Dekho, after Supreme Court in Visakha case said that each and every organization should have internal complaint committee, and it is the duty of the internal complaint committee to receive all these sexual harassment complaint and thoroughly investigate them, and if they found that anyone involved, so they'll have to take the very strict action. So, and the internal complaint committee, they have the power of civil court, but now we have seen that everything is failed, and a student of they are coming for knowledge, but they are constantly facing harassment at the hand of this those who are supposed to teach them. So this kind of things we have to take very strict, we have to punish exemplarily, so that can set an example for other. Okay. So you can this is an example ethics, how in our society ethical value has been degrading. Okay. So now here you can talk about free speech, freedom of speech. If there is a question regarding your art, maybe in polity, maybe your essay, so you can talk about how free speech has been curtailed by rising some section of opposing by some section of the society. Then expert panel decided to propose two language in Karnataka. So there is a controversy that is being emerged, regarding the language. So it is being said that it is quite easy for the children to understand if we are providing primary education in their mother tongue, because they are quite comfortable with that mother tongue. But nowadays we are seeing that instead of promoting and promoting as a language, so we are imposing language like language formula. So because of that, we have seen so many opposition. Even recently, Maharashtra, there is opposition of Maharashtra. So because of that, government had no other option but to withdraw the three language formula. So just read all these things, but you have to take a decision on that. Three language formula should be promoted, but it should not be like harsh way. It should be promoted in a good way. And at the primary level, more emphasis should be given to the mother tongue, because student can easily learn the things if they are taught in the mother tongue. Okay. Dear student, if you want to write our answer writing program, you can join. Those who are writing mains, they can join there. And those who are writing 2026, you can join this program. Okay. So next. So next, 1,500 Maoists have surrendered in Chhattisgarh. So this is what said by the Chhattisgarh CM. So three alleged Maoists have surrendered every day in Chhattisgarh in an average in past 15 months. So this is a very good development. Our Home Ministry set a targets of eliminating Naxal in 2026, 31st March 2026. So we have to eliminate. So 1,521 Maoists have been surrendered in past 15 months, calling a strong indicator of increasing reach and trust of the government in Maoist affected region. Okay? So that is what we are seeing, that why so many Maoists are surrendering in Chhattisgarh, because incentive given by the government. Recently, government provided rehabilitation. Those who are ready to surrender and forgo the violence and follow the path of democratic principle, and the government will provide a rehabilitation. All the above surrender Maoist will be provided incentive amount and other facility at the rate of 50,000 each under new rehabilitation policy. So now, Naxal or left-wing extremism, they found that, instead of involving all these criminal activities, better to follow the path of development. So it is not the bullet, but the voice of development that can hard in Bastar. So you can use this as a conclusion. It is not the bullet, but it is the voice of development that can bring changes in the far-flung area. So you have to use this kind of quote that is coming in your daily answer as a conclusion. So that will give much more impact. Okay. So next is visit the fort. So visit the fort of Maratha military landscape, which made it UNESCO list. So this can be a very good question, UPSC. So Prime Minister Narendra Modi Saturday urged our citizens to visit the Maratha. So it is recently been included in UNESCO World Heritage List. So they can ask about which location recently added into UNESCO World Heritage List. Okay. So the Maratha military landscape comprising of 12 majestic forts, 11 location in the Maharashtra, one in the Tamil Nadu. So it can be a very good question in your UPSC prelims. So when we speak of glorious Maratha Empire, we associated with good governance, military strength, and cultural pride. Emphasize on the social welfare. The great ruler inspired us with their refusal to bow to injustice. I called upon everyone to visit this fort. This is what said by Prime Minister. So Maratha landscape of India was inscribed to the UNESCO World Heritage Site as a 44th property. So this is very good, and you have to understand that this is spanning spanning from 17th to 19th century. This extraordinary networks fort demonstrate the strategic military version and architectural ingenuity of Maratha Empire, according to Union Ministry of Culture. So you have to remember this also. Then next, you have to remember which port are part of the system. So they can ask, they can give a list of 4 5 and ask which of above are part of the system. Na? So first of is Salhar, then Sibneri, then Lohgad, Khanderi, Raigad, Rajgad, Pratapgarh, then it's Subhadurg, then Penala, Vijayadurg, then Sindhudurg in Maharashtra, along with Chingi Fort in Tamil Nadu. So you have to remember that. Okay. This can be a very good question. So Election Commission said that 80% of the electorate in Bihar submitted voter enumeration form. So this recently there is a special intensive a revision drive that is being going on, and around 80% of the voter they have submitted. So that means everything is going well as per Election Commission of India. It is not saying by me. It is. So dear student, those who want to join our OPSC Prelims test series, you can scan this QR code to download our application. There you will get this test series. Okay. So India's poor resulting to informal credit data. So that is what I have already discussed, that poor people, they are mostly relying on the you can say the informal lending, like this money lender. Why? Because the poor people, they don't have access to the credit score. They don't have credit score. When you don't have a credit score, generally the bank will not provide loan to the poor people, and poor people have no other option, but they only have to resort to the informal lending. And we know that the charges in informal lending is somewhere around 40 to 50%, which is very high. Okay. So next this is what given about our accident, the report of our aircraft accident that is being happened in the Ahmedabad. Do not jump to the conclusion, final report await. This is what said by Civil Aviation Ministry. Civil Aviation Ministry declined to comment on the Air India flight crash, stating that it is immature to draw conclusion based on the preliminary report. He praised the aircraft accident investigation bureau for commendable job, because for first time we are able to investigate the accident of an aircraft. Before that we don't have any capability. This is first instances. So next is black box data recover using NTSB kit that arrived 11 days after the Air India crash. So this cable we have taken from the USA. So next is how the fuel control switch of a Boeing aircraft work. So here you can see here given it is. So if the fuel switch, it is having two positions. One is on, one is cut off. So during takeoff, we have to put in the on condition. So and it can only move to the cutoff condition in case of any fire in the engine, just to make sure that it will not be damaged. But during after the flight takeoff, it became airborne. Immediately the switch from the run positions to cutoff position. Because of that, there is no fuel to the both the engine. So aircraft start losing its speed, and it is descending at that point of time. Though our pilot, they put again that switch into the run position, but and we are also gaining the aircraft is also gaining the you can say the torque or the thrust to take off, but the altitude is very low. That is the reason it is being crashed. Okay. So we are also investigating for more detail. So next important news, given that so center moved Supreme Court to review ruling of IPS deputation in the CAPF. So what happening this issue? I'm just explaining you once again. So there can be a very good question in your interview also. Those who are preparing for CAPF, they can give that answer. So what happened? CAPF is a group a good, you can say, reputed service. Despite that, central government repeatedly appointed the IPS officer in the higher level as a deputation. So that because of that, the CAPF officer, they are not getting good chance of promotion. So recently, the CAPF officer, they moved to the Supreme Court and demanded that all the higher posts should be reserved. Higher post means more than higher post up to IG, Inspector General, should be reserved for the CAPF, so that that can act as a promotion, timely promotion, progress and pay grade then for the CAPF person. But Home Ministry recently filed a case. You can see here, Union government has filed a review petition in Supreme Court against May 23 ruling, a progressive reduction of deputation of Indian police officer to the Central Armed Police Forces. Okay? Progressively, we have to reduce. So IPS deputation to the post of senior administrative grade up to rank of Inspector General to reduce progressively over a period of 2 years. So this is what said by the Supreme Court. But the government is filing a review petition. Despite the order, Ministry of Home Affairs had continued to appoint IPS to the senior position with at least 8 appointments from the commandant to inspector ranking. So in recently, so the CAPF is a group A job, okay, constitute organized service of all purpose, effectively recognizing their demand of structural promotion and pathway to their cadre. So the case date back to the 2015 when Group A's officer of CAPA approves the court seeking non-functional financial upgradation, and they are not getting proper promotion. Their promotion is getting delayed because of all these things, and Supreme Court given this ruling. So next is enrollment nearly done for third phase of trial in India's first dengue vaccine. So recently, so they can ask UPSC very good question. So there is no vaccine for the dengue. So what is the name of the dengue? Okay? So they can ask. So Indian Council of Medical Research and Panacea Biotech initiated third phase trial of the 8,000 of targeted 10,000 patients have enrolled in third phase of clinical trial of dengue vaccine. So India, all the 4 serotypes of dengue virus are known to be circulated. Serotype means different genetic variants of dengue virus that is being circulated. So it is vital to ensure that we have an effective vaccine that achieve good efficacy of all 4 type of sero. Like we need to design a vaccine so that can be effective even if all 4 type of you can say genetically serotype if infected, then we can have effective of that. Okay. So next is there is a currently no antiviral treatment. There is no treatment for the dengue, and we have seen that so many people are dying due to dengue. So even one of my junior during my stay also died because of the dengue also. So I know how dangerous it is. So landmark trial. So this landmark trial will evaluate the efficacy of India diagnosis. Okay, so tetra means four tetravalent dengue vaccine. So name is either you can say tetravalent dengue vaccine and dengue all developed by Panacea Biotech. This is first participant in the trial was vaccinated last year. So just read that. You can see in India, approximately 70 to 80% of infection are asymptotic. That means they don't have any symptom. But if even if they don't have symptom, but they can act as a spreading. Like if someone is infected with dengue, if any mosquito bite that person and again bite another person, there is a chance of spreading rapidly. Okay, so among the 20 to 25% of cases were symptomatic and clinically apparent, children at the significant higher risk of hospitalization and mortality. So in adult, disease can easily circulate with severe condition, including hemorrhagic fever and dengue shock syndrome. Like, there are so many people are dying because of dengue symptom also. So this vaccine is going to be a game changer for India. So next is Kolhapur Sandal Rao, the Pradha to send export team to Maharashtra. So recently we have seen that one chappal that is being sold in the Pradha, that is the Italy brand. But after there is a controversy and demand by the Indian that there should be more such opportunity, there should be more recognition of the cultural property, because this chappal they are copying of Kolhapur chappal style. So after they demand, so the Pradha send a team or there is a video conference. After that, they planned that the chappal that is manufactured in the Kolhapur should be listed as a limited edition with the GI tag, so that can be promoted all over the world. So this is what the importance of GI tag. If we are creating GI tag of our product, so that means there is a high level of protection to our product. So later on we can commercialize, we can earn a lot of income from that. Okay. So you can talk about this in your if something related to intellectual property right in your GS3. So any questions, so you can talk of that. Okay. Recently this is in news, so they can also ask about GI product of Kolhapur also. Kolhapur is famous for what? So next is 8-year-old Namibia cheetah die injury at the Kunnu National Park. So dear student, you have to map this location Kunnu. So which state it is located, what kind of the you can say the environment is there, what kind of fauna is there. Okay? So 8-year-old Namibia cheetah died on the Saturday, Madhya Pradesh, Kunnu Kolpura National Park. So the female cheetah badly injured, so it's died. So you can see the Kunnu has 26 cheetah, including 6 male and 3 female adult translocated from the Africa, and 17 Indian-born cubs are also there. All are healthy. So you have to study about cheetah. What cheetah we have translocated from which location, and cheetah, there are two kind of cheetah we are found in the world. One is currently there are two kind of cheetah exist. One is Asian cheetah that is only exist in the Iran, and in India it is extincted in 1952 after independence. But Iran cheetah is very less number. So we have you can say import or you can say translocate from Namibia and South Africa. So that they are protection, they can able to protect our dryland ecosystem. Okay. So next important news is screening does not stop even after visa issue. This is what said by USA embassy. So no, now not only about screening is not only what USA is doing. If you want to enter USA for study, so you have to open your account to the USA, and after that it is even saying that even if you are getting a visa, still you have to open your the social media account and access to the administration, so that they can keep checking whether you are involved in anti-USA activity or not. If you are involved in anti-USA activity, they can take very strict action. So UGC anti-ragging system has utterly failed. This is what said by the Delhi High Court. So Delhi Mul Suomotu IPIL petitions to check surge in the ragging episodes and student suicide. UGC anti-ragging helpline number record 1084 complaint in 2024, highest in the first 9 years. So we are spending 44 lakhs yearly overseeing welfare of 35 students across the country. So how to justify that? So if you look into the National Criminal Record Bureau data, so it is found that Student counted for 76, that is 13,000 of all suicide death in India, surpassing even the combined among farmer and agricultural labor. So that means, ragging is a leading cause of suicide in India. So we have to take very strict action to prevent this death. Okay. So next, the Shukla to undergo 7-day rehabilitation after a return. So the astronaut Subhanshu Shukla will undergo a 7-day rehabilitation program after his splashdown of California coast, so that all the study, so that he can take some rest, and then will conduct, understand all these things, learning during his journey. So next, so STPI, Software Technology Parks of India, aim to spread the IT sector growth in national wide. So the MIT, that is Ministry of Information and Ministry of Information Technology, so wing new role to the industry from Tier 1 to Tier 2, Tier 3 cities. So the Software Technology Parks of India has played key role in promotion of India as a you can say hub of software industry. Now they are planning to move from the Tier 1 city to Tier 2, Tier 3, Tier 4, so that what happening now, all our industry, they are only located in the Tier 1 city, and Tier 1 city cost of living is very high. So because of that, our software industry is not that competitive. If you move from the Tier 1, Tier 2, Tier 3 and deep inside, even in Northeast, so that is going to help a lot and reduce our cost of production. It is help in development of region also. So that is what their main objectives. Just read it, you'll understand it. Okay, I've already highlighted. So need to accelerate the domestic natural rubber production. So you know that. So India is a leading producer of rubber. So which state we have produced rubber? The Kerala. So natural rubber consumption is projected to reach 20 lakh by 2030. There is need to accelerate the domestic production. So domestic natural rubber production is around, you can say 9 lakh, but our consumption is around 14 lakh. So we are having shortage of 5 lakh. So this underscore need for sustained long-term investment in development of rubber sector. So if you look into that, there is northeastern region which is having a rich potential for rubber cultivation, but we have not yet tapped that potential. So even Northeast Bengal, so they have the potential for cultivation. So a significant opportunity lies in improving production of by tapping nearly 2 lakh hectare of untapped rubber plantation in Kerala itself. So next, what kind of other problems that we are facing in our rubber sector? There is inverted duty structure. That means if you import tire, if we import tire, it is low cost. If you import the raw rubber and manufacture, the raw rubber cost is very high. After manufacturing the tire, the cost of tire is very high as compared to import. So what happening because of that? All our automobile industries, they simply import the tire instead of importing the rubber, because the raw rubber cost is very high because of high taxes. This is what called inverted duty structure. Inverted duty structure is very dangerous. Inverted duty structure means raw material cost is very high. So whenever you are using raw material, let's say the raw rubber and manufactured tire, the tire cost is very high as compared to imported tires. So that is the reason all our you can say the automobile industry, even aircraft, they simply import the tire rather than importing the raw rubber. So we have to correct that as well. And dear student, you can get our daily current affair, that is we are providing in a very good way. So so by you can scan this QR code to get that. Okay. So next is why Donald Trump taking Donald Trump taking aim at BRICS. So we have seen that recently Donald Trump threatened to impose 10% tariff on all the BRICS country. That is, what is the grouping position on creating BRICS common currency, and what about Indian stand? So recently there is a proposal being given that we have to create an alternative currency that is called BRIC currency, or we can have trade among the BRICS country on the local currency. So after that, Donald Trump threatened to impose sanction all this country who are trying to create alternate currencies. Okay. So you can just see about the BRICS declaration, that is in South Africa 2023, Russia. So member have proposed that cross-border payment initiative that aims to facilitate trade and investment within BRICS country using local currency and other mechanism. The initiative built momentum due to the problem of Western sanction on the Russia. So we have seen that why there is a demand, because USA, they use the attitude of sanction, with the sanction as a tools to control the you can say the control the trade and have a trade deal in favor of that. So country are quite threatened, not able to trust the USA. So they want some alternate currencies. So what has the USA threatened to do? So they USA demand that they'll impose 10% on all the BRICS country. So Donald Trump slapped 50% tariff on Brazil. So and 30% on the South Africa. So we can say we cannot trust at this moment of time. And also, Donald Trump says that anyone who are buying oil from the Russia, they will impose 500% sanctions. So basically, major buyer of Russian oil is India and China. We're going to impact. And Russia at this moment of time produce around 10% of global or crude oil. So any sanction that is going to cause disruption, particularly Indian economy, because 85% of our oil are imported. So we are going to impact very hard. So are Trump concern valid? So Donald Trump concern about de-dollarization. So even BRICS country, they are not saying, we are not even in favor of reducing, challenging the hegemony of dollar. Even the Indian, you can see about Indian Ministry of External Affairs clearly stated that we are not anyway against, Shankar was more categorical that saying that India, no Indian policy to replace the dollar. He concluded, however, that BRICS member had difference and there was no unified position on group on this issue. Okay. So next important article is how Mizoram handling the refugee crisis. So recently we have seen that there is a war going on, civil war that is going on after the Myanmar. Myanmar initially there is a coup happen where the military junta they capture the power, and later on there is a faction of this the tribes that is fighting against this military coup, they themselves started fighting. So you can see here the Mizoram has grappling with refugee crisis since February to 2021 military coup in the Myanmar after the month of lull beyond state border. So some 4,000 refugees cross over the Myanmar in first week of July following fratricide battle between two rival armed groups. So Mizoram is now caught between the pushing back the refugees, letting them stay despite limited resources. What happened? This is the border, and this is Mizoram, and this is Myanmar. So tribes and their kinship, their relations, they don't have any border. So there is a cross-border marriage. In the Myanmar, there is a shift of people to the India, and this in Indian region, some state they don't have a resource to take care of all this migrant, and at the same time they cannot push them back because of family relations. So that create a severe crisis for management of the refugee. Are allowing hold more refugees, so there is a high at some terrorist or other element they can comes to also, and they may create our internal security threat as well. Okay. What is the state of inequality in India? So recently a report is being published by the World the consumption inequality is very low, like it is very low as compared to other countries. So after that the government have been praised and opposition have been criticized. So why this is happening? So let me tell you, the inequality is three things. One is consumption, like how much money you are spending, and second one is your income, how much income you have as compared to other, and third one is wealth inequality. But this report that is being published by the World Bank, it is about consumption inequality. Okay. So if you look into that, so consumption inequality does not show the real inequality in India. Consumption inequality, why it is not going to see that? Because as the person's income increase gradually, so person will not spend entire amount on the consumption. So the percentage of income is very less that they are going to spend in the consumption. So that means the expenditure or consumption between the rich. So if you use consumption inequality in measurement of inequality, so it will give a wrong picture. Second one is the poor people, though they report the exact amount of their consumption, rich people, they don't report because there is a fear of, some true measure of inequality. If you want to find, then we have to find the income inequality. So now from margin to the center. So 17th BRICS Summit Rio de Janeiro, which saw the member different relations both and Russia conflict, of a striking reflection of both promise and challenges facing the South-South cooperation. So the idea, if you look into study that, it is clearly given how the BRICS is evolved. So BRICS is evolved because it is a you can see here detail is given how BRICS is evolved. So yes, so if you study this article, it is given that this is given by the Goldman Sachs economist from a substandard 35% of GDP and 50% of the world population, and its GDP worth is more than that of the G7. Of Global South historically referred to the group of countries primarily in Asia, Africa, and Latin America that share the history of colonization. So, if anyone asks about what is the meaning of Global South, so you can say they are having colonization, ongoing struggle against the global inequality. They Western dominated world order through South-South cooperation is a that this nation aim to achieve development through mutual assistance and increasing solidarity among themselves. Okay, so this South-South cooperation is non-aligned movement. So next it is given. So in recent BRICS summit held in Rio de Janeiro, it is the 17th BRICS summit. So they can ask that. Remember. So here we have seen that there are different approach. There are on the one hand USA, then Russia conflict, then US is also involved in the Gaza and Iran conflict. So because of this thing, so we have seen that still BRICS has its relevance. So it is given recently. BRICS also taken a lot of steps like establishment of new development bank, then contingency reserve arrangement. So dear student, tell me where is the headquarter of the new development bank? Tell me in the comment box. So it is in the where? Shanghai. Okay. So next we have established that is around it is 100 billion fund that is we have been created. So they can provide emergency to its partner. Okay, so basically this institution we have established to counter the dominance of the Western world, like World Bank and IMF. Okay, so if you look into all these things, you can find despite having so many diversity within the BRICS, it is within the BRICS we have the developed world like Russia, we have the China, which is largest economy. It is also representing all the continents. So all the countries they are having divergence interests. For example, Brazil is concerned about environmental sustainability. India is concerned about technology, service, and powerhouse. China is concerned. So all these there are different challenges we are posing. Yet there is a unity. So you just read that it is given a very good article about the BRICS. Okay. So dear student, this is a very good article also. So recently we are seeing India. So you can see about there is a stampede in Hatara. So after the Bhole Baba incident, so next we have seen a stampede at the Kumbh Mela, then the RCB parade, then even recent Puri Rath Yatra. So many stampede are happening near and there. So because of too many people are visiting and the authority are not ready or they are not having any SOP, standard operating procedure protocols to check all these things. That is the reason we are seeing repeatedly occurrence of the stampede. So we need to have standard operating procedure. We need to have system. We need to ensure that proper system. We need to ensure proper, visiting of the passenger, proper infrastructure development, so that we can prevent such kind of incident. So here you can talk about, they can. July newspaper. So, dear student, please write your comment in the comment box if you have any suggestion regarding what kind of content will deliver. So, your content, your like, your comment really motivate me to make this video more interactive, more highly enriched for you. So, please like, subscribe, and share this video with your friends so that it really motivate to me to provide this video on a daily basis. And you can also suggest me the timing. So I'm planning to start this video every day around you can say 8:45 to 9 a.m. in the morning. So if you have any other suggestion regarding time, please vote in the comment in the comment box. So according to that, we'll set that time also. Okay, dear student. So I'll have to end here. Chale, bye bye. Have a good day.